If you have been on any sort of social media and you're an NBA fan, I'm sure you have seen the "we done with the 90s" trend, which I am actually now struggling to understand if it's just something to troll old heads or if people are actually being serious. But after looking through a ton of old games and also watching a lot of these TikToks and listening to a lot of different perspectives from this, I could say both sides are dumb. Like, I think we can all agree that the NBA wasn't that good back then compared to now, because the game evolves. That's the whole entire point of basketball, of the NBA, is to see how the game evolves. Go back to the 50s, it gets better in the 60s, it gets better in the 70s, and so forth. I have full confidence in saying that we are yet to see one decade be worse than the decade before, or have less talent. But the actual reason as to why we are even having this argument is, like I said before, it's because of the old heads. And it's funny because they're the ones that get the most upset about this argument, obviously, because everyone is just talking bad about Michael Jordan and all these old teams that they used to watch. But that's because they did nothing but hype it up like crazy. And I mean, I was a little bit influenced when you hear all these old heads talk about how Michael Jordan was this insane godlike figure back then. And I'm not saying that he was bad or he wasn't a champion. I mean, the dude won 6 rings for a reason. He is one of the greatest players, probably top 2 in my opinion, of all time. But we can all agree, after going back and watching a lot of the old 90s footage, they were definitely hyping it up a lot. Now, things get a little bit out of hand when you have people today talking about how Michael Jordan not being able to go left makes him just a modern day Jaylen Brown with a shoe deal. But it's not only NBA fans saying that he couldn't go left. I mean, this is something that was known for quite some time. Even Isaiah Thomas went on a podcast to talk about it.
He didn't have great handles. Couldn't go left, right? And if he went left more than 2-3 times, he had to pick it up.
Couldn't go left. It's something that was very known back then. It was actually a very big element in the entire Jordan rules. The Jordan rules wasn't just to push him when in midair. It was to send him left. If he's in the middle of the court, he's going left. If he's on the right side of the court, he's going left. That was part of the Jordan rules. But I hate to break it to you, even if he couldn't go left, which he still did sometimes, he averaged 37 points a season. Sorry, only for the 1986 season. But he then went on to average 35, 32, 33, and so forth. The guy was still good. And yes, you could say that the defense was a lot different back then, but if you put Jaylen Brown in the 90s, do we think he's going to average 40 points a season? I don't know. See, I don't think Jaylen Brown is even that good. But there is one thing about this entire trend that I do think is very real, and that's that every decade before the 90s wasn't that crazy. And I'm not trying to discredit the legends out there who played before the 90s, right? There are a lot of people who laid the groundwork for what we call the NBA today. But if you just look at the NBA 75th anniversary team, I could pick at least 10 players who do not deserve to be on this list compared to the talent that we have today. It is ridiculous. No disrespect, but Jesus Christ, this guy is one of the top 75 players in the NBA. Like, let's be serious here. This is a hill I am willing to die on. There are a lot of people on this list who don't really deserve to be on this list. Okay, I'm done disrespecting players who played in the 60s and 70s. But one thing that I think is really funny about this trend is that I don't think a lot of people understand that in 30 years, maybe even 20 years, this same thing is going to be happening, except to this era, or maybe the 2010s, or whatever it's going to be. But like, you seriously don't think people are going to go back and watch clips like this, where they see Klay Thompson, who we call one of the best three-point shooters of all time, airball this three? You don't think they're going to come back to this and laugh at us for saying, oh man, you really thought he was one of the best three-point shooters? It's going to be these 2 clips that are in that montage when you see it, and it's going to be on some different app. It's going to be talked about by some young kids, and you know, that's just how it is. That's how the NBA is for some reason. Unless things have changed, unless the people of today's NBA fan base actually change with the game and don't let nostalgia run everything in the world like a lot of these Jordan fans and 90s NBA basketball fans do, maybe everyone will understand. Maybe we will be able to accept when there's a new GOAT in town. I know some people won't be able to, but I think maybe there will be a little bit more acceptance than when Jordan fans see LeBron come in 03. Also, the whole argument where people say if Kyrie played in the 80s or 90s, he would be the GOAT and he would be all this stuff, they would call that man for traveling and carrying every single time. They would do that with the majority of the league right now, because that's what happens in the league. It just doesn't get called. So yeah, I guess at the end of the day, this video was made just to talk about how corny old heads are, and also how a lot of the people who are young today talking about the old era will find themselves in the old heads position if they don't continue to evolve with the game itself. And that could be me. Maybe I'm going to be one of those grumpy ass motherfuckers motherfuckers on TikTok live yelling at everyone, talking about how this era was better than this era. But yeah, with that being said, I still do think this is just something to troll old heads with after all the talk they've done for Michael Jordan, because at the end of the day, the NBA changes, and I think everyone should understand that offense changes, defense changes, everything does. Dribbling has changed. I mean, that's just how it is. So yeah, comment down below your opinion on this. Do you think people are right for saying that they're done with the 90s? Do you think Michael Jordan is better than LeBron? I don't know. Comment something down there. I'll respond to you. I always read and respond to everyone, so I'll be down there. Oh, and also like and subscribe while you're down there, okay? It helps me out a ton, helps push out this video as well. All right, thank you guys very much, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.